Okay. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming our speaker, IR Shazwan Khalid, to deliver his talk on SDG goals through the lens of a global energy technology provider. Okay, IR Shazwan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, thanks very much. Am I loud and clear enough? Can I see some thumbs up before I begin? Okay, good. Let me share my screen first. So screen is clear, I believe. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, thanks very much. Very good afternoon. Assalamualaikum to students, to fellow lecturers, staff of Unit 10. Thanks very much to Dr. Rashdan for having me today as well to share what we do at Siemens SDG when it comes to this topic, SDG goals. Basically, you would see my title, Strategic Account Director or Strategic Account Manager. My background is, it has nothing to do with accounting or financing. So when it comes to account, so this is the terminology that we use in the industry. Account is typically key stakeholders or key customers that we have in the industry. So I look after Petronas and its affiliates as my strategic account. So I do stakeholder management. I'm also part of business development and growth initiative for Siemens Energy Malaysia. So this topic on SDG goals is very much close to our heart as a company, not only as a company, but also myself being, part of Siemens Energy as strategic account director. I do day-to-day interaction with my clients, Petronas, TNB, and then we talk a lot about this SDG goals, sustainability in a broader way. So I'm here today to share with you what we do at Siemens Energy, and then we can see where we can share and then also exchange insights as well. I look forward to your questions and comments as well towards the end of the session. So something wrong with my image. Okay, so what do we want to take away from today's session? I would divide into 4 key themes. We would go into SDG deep dive. What do they mean for energy, especially energy industry? I think Unit 10 and Siemens Energy, we are pretty much playing important part in this space, especially your parent company TNB as well. And then we will see what Siemens Energy does in action in the real world contributions that we do day to day. We will touch a little bit on the challenges and trade-offs, and then what we can do, what you can do as students, what brings you to the next chapter of your life during your career, what are the things that can get you prepared, to face these challenges and then help us overcome that, right? So, okay, before I get into details, probably some of you might have already been made aware about Siemens Energy, or you might have seen Siemens Energy. So we are the energy technology provider. We are present across over 90 countries. Our workforce is nowadays over 100,000 employees worldwide. And then we do have about over 500 employees here in Siemens Malaysia. We serve our key customers, Petronas, TNB, throughout the energy value chain. So if you look at the portfolio of Siemens Energy, we do supply gas turbines, wind turbines for low emission power generation. And we do also supply grid technology solutions, things like transformers, switch gears, and grid digitalization solution, battery storage as well, synchronized condenser, and a lot of technologies, this new tech that comes with it. And then also on the consumption side, where we help our customers decarbonize their operation. Like Petronas, if they have their petchem complex, then we do have our compression solution there. We have our electrification, automation, and digitalization solution there to support the decarbonization piece of the operation. And then the latest, I would say, technology that we have is on electrolyzers. We have giga scale manufacturing facility in Germany that manufacturing hydrogen electrolyzers up to 1 gigawatt per year. So it is not that we produce the hydrogen, but we produce or manufacture the electrolyzers for that solution. Okay. So now comes to the topic. I think this energy transition came into serious discussion after Paris Agreement, and then you might have heard of COP, and then this year there will be next COP conference of which is happening in Brazil. So this trilemma of energy transition that we need to always balance, I think this is something that always need to stick to our mind when it comes to energy value chain. So affordability, reliability, and sustainability. And obviously through our solution, low zero emission power generation, transport of energy, reducing the GEG emission, carbon emission reduction, and decarbonization and whatnot. So all this, if we piece together, we can leave these three main theme, within the solution, within the day-to-day work that we do. So affordability, reliability, and sustainability. And we want to put emphasis on sustainability today because that is the topic that we are working on, okay? And we want to talk about a lot today. So when it comes to sustainability, it is obviously core element of our business. And then you might be wondering as well why we do this sustainability, right? I mean, of course, you see sustainability could be in the areas of clean energy, and then what else, right? Why we do this? As business, it is also the stakeholder expectations. So those people who own our business, the capital market, for example, they expect something out of this ESG performance that we need to always perform to the targets that we have promised, let's say, or we have claimed, we have pledged, for example. And then, of course, our customers, they demand sustainable products and solution. And then another thing, which is the social part or the employees part, within our company. So if we have this sustainability as one of the imperatives, then we engage our employees. And then this leads to increased productivity, giving us less cost, higher output, better profit. And of course, when it comes to ESG performance, if we have solid ESG performance, it is becoming less risk for us, reduced risk for us, and then increases, in the end, shareholder returns. So one of the example, throughout this sustainability ESG topic, we deploy a project for example, in the North Sea, 2 gigawatt is a giga scale offshore wind. And then we supply a converter station, which is offshore converter station that is called Dolwin there, that is connecting to the grid and then powering up to 4 million population. So this is something that is really big, something that makes the stakeholders happy with it. Opportunities, of course, we have when it comes to ESG or sustainability within our business, then it would attract good financing package. We would get better investment. The credit rating becomes good, and then we will get better interest rates. Yeah, because we have this as core of our business. And then also some of the customers demands us to show that we are a sustainable company and we have met the target, so that only they want to do business with us. Like Petronas, for example, they demand from us some reporting on the sustainability, some reporting on ESG, so that they can continue doing business with us, because they themselves have also targets, right? The scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. I'm not sure whether you have covered this in your class, but we can park that discussion also later, because I think it is important to also understand what is scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions, what it means to the business. And then, of course, growth and long-term success, growth, renewable, green electricity, this is giving us business growth and good business opportunities. And then just example I put down there, we have received a green bond or a green loan from Germany, which is of the value of 1.5 billion euros. That's a lot of money that we receive. And this green bond, it has like very attractive interest rate. And then we can use this money to invest in the project executions that we do in the green space. Okay, that aligns with the ESG criteria. And then risk mitigation. Yeah, of course, when it comes to sustainability, let's not forget about environment, the climate change, right? The market is getting ready towards that climate change, that climate crisis. Although despite the fact that you see, okay, maybe I should also mention Trump administration doesn't support that so much, but we are getting there. Like Malaysia, for example, also is introducing carbon tax, and then also really putting money and investment into green space. So this is something that comes into play as well. And reputational risks, I think this is also key. We always want to aim ourselves as a company. We want to be a sustainability leader in the energy value chain. So we want to be top number 1, 2, 3 in terms of this space. Okay. So when it comes to sustainability, ESG, and SDG, these are the terminology that has been always made, interchangeable, And then we need to understand what is sustainability, ESG, and SDG as well before we dive deeper into the topic. So sustainability is really the why we want to achieve certain things, right? It is always the overarching, the umbrella of all activities that contributing to prosperity and creating societal value, while we reduce the negative impacts on people and especially the planet. So it's always about people and planet. And then ESG is obviously the terminology that investors are using. It is environment, social, is it? And governance. And then some company in my past employment, my CEO at that time says, it is, if you put a rank, ESG, the governance is always the first one, because without the good governance, you cannot deliver on environmental and then societal promises that you have. But it depends, it is always the terminology just to put some framework on where we should do things, right? And then SDG is Sustainable Development Goals. Excuse me. So Sustainable Development Goals, these are really the criteria, right? I mean, UN has put certain criteria, 17 of them in total that covers ESG, that covers environment, social, and governance. So out of these total 17 goals, we contribute into 5 SDGs with high impact. So we select these 5 SDG goals as high impact, as strategic approach for us when we develop products, when we develop a solution, when we approach our customers, and then how we deal with our employees, how we set up the company. So I want to focus on these 5 high impact SDGs, okay? So we have this SDG 5, 7, 8, 9, 13. So gender equality, affordable, clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, climate action. And then I got to know this morning. I learned this through Dr. Rashidan that, Unit 10 must also embed all these SDG goals within the learning, the way the lesson is being set up. I feel like maybe examination would come also on this topic maybe. But yeah, I think beyond this, the set of framework, I think one day I would imagine that, okay, we understand this better, right? I mean, in the end, it should be like for us at Siemens Energy, sustainability is something that is embedded. We don't have any chief sustainability officer within the company. So the chief sustainability officer of the company is the CEO himself, not like other companies, maybe TMB, our customers, if I name, a few, TMB, Petronas, or other companies, they put a specific position, chief sustainability officer to execute all these sustainability goals, right? But with the Siemens Energy, no, we don't have. So that guy himself is the chief sustainability. So that means sustainability is really embedded in the business. We don't need someone. It's for everyone to apply, to implement it, and be in the mindset and culture of the company. Okay. Let me start with SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy. So 1/6 of global electricity generation is based on Siemens Energy technology. And then if you look at Malaysia, we contribute towards about 10% of the power generation of Malaysian electricity. So I think this is really, really important that we work on affordable and clean energy. And obviously our strategy are always overarching on the solutions and products that we have, on the generation, the grid, and also the consumption of energy. So when it comes to generation, we invest a lot on expanding our renewables. For all of you that might not know, we do own Siemens Gamesa. Maybe you have heard that, we bought over that company from Spain. So now it is fully integrated within Siemens Energy. And then that company produced up to 14 gigawatt. Now I think it becomes 20 gigawatt wind turbine that we deploy offshore, onshore, and we want to expand that business, despite the fact that, okay, the return is not the same as, conventional power generation, but still we do invest on that because we feel that that is the obligation. And then as a company to enable this affordable and clean energy. And then when it comes to conventional power, I mean, you might have seen the gas turbines, we exited coal. We don't support coal power plants or projects anymore. Of course, there are certain businesses, services, aftermarket that we do, but small portion of it. But we have exited coal. And then we want to transform the conventional power, the gas-fired power generation, for example, the CCGT plants, by introducing fuel or hybridization of the power generation. So when it comes to fuel, we always make our turbines hydrogen capable. And then we have the target by 2030 that all our gas turbines can burn up to 100% hydrogen. And we are making ready for that, right? Because of the imperative of clean energy. And then when it comes to clean energy and affordable, it is really important to strengthen the grid. So the grid is the bedrock of all these affordable and clean energy. So the growth projection of the grid is very high. There's a lot of jobs in the grid and transmission space. Your parent company, TMB, is also investing a lot in grid modernization. And we see booming into this, regardless of what Trump would say or Trump direct us to, whether to renewable or to the gas, but grid still stay the same. With the growth of electricity, you still need good grid to deliver that electricity. Then comes to the next, which is 8 and 5, decent work and economic growth, gender equality. So I mentioned briefly about global electricity demand, right? This is the economic growth that we are talking about. So by 2030, 38,000 terawatt hour of energy demand compared to, maybe 25, which is around 30. That's huge investment that is required. It's not only investment in money, but also investment in people. So we need people to work on this. I think some of you might already put on ChatGPT now, preparing for questions, right? For me, or trying to Google or do anything on. We do a lot of AI nowadays, and this needs power. And we cannot understate this, that the business is going crazy now on the energy. So we need people. Economic growth is there. And then how do we keep up to that, right? Two things I would mention here also on the decent work and gender equality. So when it comes to gender equality and decent work, we want to make sure that at Siemens Energy, we provide very good environment for people to work. They are happy at work. They have the psychological safety at work. And then also in terms of gender equality, I mentioned that. So we have set a certain target. I don't have that on top of my mind, but typically certain department has certain targets on filling up a position that is for X percentage by female, especially on STEM, right? Science, technology. So we want to fill up certain position that is, for female engineers, for example. So we do a lot of serious thoughts about it, serious initiatives on it as well. And then if you look at our people agenda on the right, the green star, we put there inclusion and diversity. So these are the things that we do, inclusion and diversity. So I think also over lunch, I talked to Dr. Rashdan about female, promoting female, and then also diversity in workplace. I think this is something that we always have the aim and target that is cast in stone. So I think for you guys, and also the future female leaders, female engineers, you will have a very, very good future. So don't forget that, while you are in engineering, I think most of you are in engineering and want to pursue engineering, keep doing it. Your CV is very valuable. And we promote that, even back home also I have daughters, outnumbered by daughters. I do promote to them, engineering, because this is the world that we are going to. We need more people. It's not about just gender, but really the number of workforce that we need. Now I take example, Siemens Energy Malaysia, we are 500. By end of the year, we need to add another maybe 50 people. I mean, that is really daunting task. We need to, as a global company, we can pull people from various locations, but we always want to prioritize the talents that we have here in Malaysia. So I think, let's be part of this and work together on this. And I think this is one of the initiatives that we do. I mean, even me being here, it's really to address the goals that we have here today on 8 and 5. Okay. On innovation, industry innovation, infrastructure, the key innovation and partnerships that we always do is on the 4 parts, which is the resilient energy infrastructure, which is obviously on the grid, and then digitalization. So the solutions, the software that we have to stabilize the grid, for example, to decarbonize customer operation, and then hydrogen, which is fuel switching, from coal to gas, from gas to hydrogen, and carbon capture. So all these 4 key strategic topics that we always invest into partnership. I want to just give you an example. I hope this is working well on the video. Try. Is it the sound is okay?
No, we cannot hear the sound.
Okay,
So I think we need to do some setting, Dr. Rashdan.
Okay, sound setting, let me check.
Should I do that or should I?
Not sure.
Let me stop sharing. Okay, give us 1 minute.
Okay.
Should we skip this now or? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for waiting. This works now. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes, we can screen.
Okay.
That's good now. Yeah.
Siemens Energy intend to be the global market leader in sustainability. That's our number one target. When Siemens Energy invested at Liquid Wind, because we really want to put some skin into the game for the e-fuel business. E-methanol will be one of the drivers in the future in transportation for the shipping industry, and we want to be an active part of this. For me, really, Liquid Wind and the flagship is one of the most important and advanced projects in this respect. Siemens Energy will supply the electrolyzers, consuming sustainable energy and pure water, and out of this, producing oxygen and hydrogen, whereas the hydrogen, together with the biogenic CO2, will be then the enabler to have then at the end of the day e-methanol for the transportation business as the e-fuel.
We've been working with Siemens Energy for many years, and they've been a super partner to work with. We get access to the latest technology of electrolyzers. We also get access to electrification solutions and digitization solutions. And the digitization is a crucial piece for us as we're going to multiply the facilities as we move along.
The idea to produce one flagship and multiply it up to 500 in 2050, that's the genius idea of this whole project. Because this, with the technology together, like digitalization, enables us to finally reach an earlier market parity of our pricing for e-methanol than we would do otherwise. And it will help also to get pressure into the market. Others will follow us.
Okay. Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Yeah, I have a set of other videos as well there. Maybe I can share later in the link or somewhere. That is something that we can't really see now today because it is still, I mean, we have signed the collaboration and then we have put investment into that, but it is still obviously a long way to go. But this is something that we are preparing for the future, right? And then I also shared, I think in the previous session, sharing session a few months back on the collaboration that we also do with TMB. I will verbalize it here because some of the NDA that we signed with TMB that we cannot reveal. And obviously we are looking into the hydrogen economy as well for Malaysia using curtailed electricity. So there's a lot of other things, you know, in Sarawak also you might have seen in the news that we are also collaborating with, Sarawak Economic Development Corporation on enabling the hydrogen economy for the state, you know, enabling the export of the hydrogen to Japan, Korea, while we are also making sure that the existing conventional power generation or existing energy value chain works, right? So it comes into like not only us being the technology provider, but also getting our customers, the government, you know, the society prepared for it, you know, in terms of not only, you know, operating all the assets, but also giving the jobs, you know, additional jobs and then giving prosperity in terms of the economic development in the state and so on. So there's a lot of things that comes into that. So it's not only just us supplying the equipment and that's it. You know, that's the thing that I would like to bring up as well. Okay. Oops. Okay. Climate action. It is in our strategy to decarbonize the society, but what it means for us as a company, we need to also decarbonize our own operation. So we set some good examples. That means we walk the talk. If you look at the photo there, net zero supply chain. So we have the target to reduce a scope 3 emission in our supply chain by 2030 by 30%. So as of today, even more, I mean, this was status of 2 years back, 19%. So we are almost there. So that means what it really means is we look at our suppliers. So we make sure that they also comply to the requirements. You know, if they have the SDG goals, they also comply with it. Same goes to whatever I've mentioned before, like TMB and Petronas, they ask us to comply. So it's the same thing. So that is called the net zero supply chain. And then climate neutrality in our own operations by 2030. You know, we have the target reduction of scope 1 and 2 GHG emissions by 2025, which is 46% reduction. So as of now, we have overachieved it through, you know, purchasing the renewable energy, electricity. In case for Malaysia, we bought some RE certificates as well to decarbonize our electricity consumption. And then we try to, you know, minimize the electricity consumption by, you know, savings. You know, sometimes it's a simple things, you know, you turn off the lights when there is no one in the meeting room and things like that. You buy, you know, AC, which is like smart enough to make sure, you know, you are not overuse it. So something around that. I mean, sometimes it's very quick, low-hanging fruits that you do through this climate neutrality in your own operation. And that's what we do every day. Net zero product, services, and solutions. So what we provide to the clients, to our customers, are the solutions that is already, you know, helping reduction of, you know, greenhouse gas emission or CO2 emission. And then it is something that is quite difficult sometimes because every region, every jurisdiction, every country has, or every region would have different set of goals, set of standards. You know, when it comes to Malaysia, it is still not the same. greenhouse gas emission or CO2 emission. And then it is something that is quite difficult sometimes because every region, every jurisdiction, every country has, or every region would have different set of goals, set of standards. When it comes to Malaysia, it is still not the same like in Europe. In Europe, they might want to just buy, green products, but not here, right? I mean, sometimes that comes with premium. That premium, our customers here in the region cannot afford yet. But this will come. Even if you look at the targets, we are targeting 28%, 27% status of 2 years back. I think now we have overachieved it. That comes to other markets like in the Europe, in the US, Australia, where the jurisdiction, the obligations are there. And then target reduction of SF6 emissions. I mentioned about grid quite a lot. I mean, grid is the bedrock of all this sustainability energy transition. So 60% target reduction of SF6. So we use this SF6 within our transformers, within our grid products. So we plan not to use it anymore. We use some other means, which is less toxic, less, I would say, cleaner for the environment. Okay. And we see that a lot of customers even nowadays also changing towards those. And then 100% share of renewable electricity by 2033. So as I mentioned, we purchase renewables energy certificates where we couldn't afford renewable electricity. So yeah, here we are. And then if you look at the examples, I have some photos on the left. We use recycled copper in transformers so that we make sure that we reuse things that we can reuse. Recycled blades, if you can imagine how big is the wind turbines that we have, we are still recycling those blades. And I think it is really possible if we want to do it. Yeah. Okay, now comes the reality, right? Challenges and trade-offs. When it comes to Malaysia, our PM say, okay, we have outpaced global average in sustainable development goals. True or not, how it is being reported, but still we see the challenges, right? I mean, if we frame ourselves towards this energy trilemma again, security, affordability, sustainability, now most of the topic of today is really about security, energy security, and affordability. We want cheap electricity at, in a reliable way. Then we tend to take out the sustainability part as no longer, our top priority. So it is our choice, really. It is not for us to let's say it's for everyone to worry. I must correct myself, right? So sustainability is something that is for everyone to think of. Don't leave just to the government to direct us towards that, but we as individual, as student, be it professors, we should play a role in making sure that sustainability is always the integral part of the energy trilemma, But of course, the ground reality is we need to do a just transition. Let's say when it comes to sustainability, we need to phase out fossil fuel. At what price that we need to do that, right? Someone needs to pay for that premium. Let's say renewable is still not cheap. And of course, we as a country, we are predominantly, fueled by fossil fuels. And then the role of gas, which is the business, which is the GDP of Malaysia, of the country. This is the income of the country. But gas nowadays becomes like, few years back, people narrated towards transition fuel, but nowadays it starts becoming destination fuel because of the coal to gas shift. So something that we can think of, where we go with this. But we as a company at Siemens Energy, we still believe the importance of gas. So we want to keep our gas turbines, our combined cycle gas-fired power plants running, but running by, in a better way, in a higher efficient, low emission way. And then now energy mix and SDG alignment, we want to do carbon tax, should we start nuclear to balance the energy mix and then really align with SDG goals? And then I think this is also a topic that I don't have myself much clarity on it, but maybe I could also listen from the room, from the students as well. What do you feel about it? Is nuclear the future for us to achieve the sustainable development goals that we have pledged? Despite the fact that PM has claimed we have outpaced, but we do keep track on that, right? And keep at the pole position, I would say, in terms of that SDG goals. So in preparation for you, especially the students, I think I want to take the chance as well to simply share, right? I mean, what the industry needs from you, from the academics, right? I think this is quite important. It's about, number one, the system thinking. When I say system thinking, because this is my background, okay? Probably I'm biased to it, but we need to think of let's say, take energy value chain. We need to think of the system, think of a big picture, from generation, grid to consumption. Think of a big picture, like if you run a company, if you have a company, even if you have a university, you run a department, it's about people. So have a system thinking, be a bit more versatile. We always love people who are very versatile and know something, what is happening outside of your core domain or expertise, right? This is why I encourage this kind of session, to be done. I mean, thanks to Uniten and Dr. Rajlan for doing this. Sustainability, I think you have listened from me, maybe through other readings. I'm not that expert in sustainability, but it's important that we understand why we do this and then why we have this sustainability being embedded in our business, being embedded in our education system. And innovation, we need to innovate every day. So we need some innovative mindset. It is only not, on the technology part, but also on the business. We want people to have certainly growth mindset. So whatever things we talk about, be it sustainability, be it technology, is always about growth, opportunities, getting profit. It's about prosperity, right? Getting better lives and so on. And I would encourage, like Uniten, I think I've seen a lot of things that is happening, research, partnership, thesis topic, SDG initiative, something that we could collaborate. I mean, industry from our side, Siemens Energy and Uniten, we could collaborate as well. I mean, I encourage students, maybe have a word with your lecturers, okay, what are the topics, research partnership that we could do with the external parties, with the industries, so that you address the needs of the industry of today. Okay, with that, that is probably my last slide of the day. Again, thanks very much for the opportunity, and then thanks very much for having me. Thanks very much for bearing with me. I know it's not that probably exciting topic for everyone, but it is important. And then I hope it is giving value to everyone, the students, lecturers, the staff, and whoever that is here today with me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, IR Shazwan, for the insightful presentation. Okay, before I pass the floor